You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Well, good morning, Sudbury. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. We're coming at you live from CKLU 96.7 FM on the radio, cklu.ca online, and we're streaming there. If you click on the Radio Player Canada app, you can stream us. If you click on it enough to download it, and you do download it, you can listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device by having the Radio Player Canada app working on your device. We're also streaming at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, and all that stuff. Mainly comment, because that's where we can get your comments read on the show for those listening on the radio. Put them on the screen for those that are watching. If I'm not able to get a chance to read them for those listening, audio on streaming or on the radio. So make sure to comment. That's the main thing on Facebook or YouTube. We're not sure what's happening with YouTube these days. I'm going to do a little bit different style, a different format for the show today, just to maybe do a little bit of an experiment. So we're going to have a replay of end of yesterday's show to start the show, and then we'll piggyback off that, and then we'll come around to local news by the end of the show. So it's a little bit reversed. Usually we'll look at the local headlines, and then we'll do a little bit of a foray into national or international news, some deeper topics that affect people other than in Greater Sudbury, where we're broadcasting from. So we'll do that today, just to give everyone the heads up. So if you were with us for the last half of the show and you didn't mind the content and whatever, we're just going to do a review of that, and we're going to head into some more material today. It's so we're looking forward to that. And again, it's a bit of an experiment. Half my video was cut yesterday on YouTube, not knowing the reason why, and I'm just doing this to see if that might be the reason or not. And so bear with me as I need to learn what's going on with the big tech companies that we are streaming on their platforms. So anyways, we'll dive right into some weather, and we'll come back with the review of yesterday's show, leaping off into some more content on the subject we covered yesterday. And if you weren't with us yesterday, you're going to love it. So, and I don't want to give away the content, because I don't know if that's the reason why the broadcast was cut short or not. So I just don't want to play into that. But anyways, we're going to come back with some weather, some news headlines, local content. We're going to be talking about City Council met last night, and they discussed the new cultural hub, a place where all people can gravitate to. And instead of having $100 million building that's going to be a standalone building to make, we're going to spend around $65 million, and we're going to retrofit Tom Davies Square. A little spoiler alert there. We'll talk about some of the details on that coming from City Council yesterday, and much, much more when we come back. Stay tuned. It's going to be a great show. And Sudbury weather, as usual, is brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. Currently, it's -9 degrees. Feels like -16 with some light snow. Today, you can expect more of that in the form of flurries, local amount of 2 centimeters, and a high of 0. Wind will be gusting up to about 40 kilometers this morning. Wind chill will feel like -14 this morning. Tonight, a few flurries ending in the evening, then cloudy. 40% chance of flurries before the morning. And then temperatures will be around -1, with the wind chill be around -7. Thursday, cloudy, 40% chance of flurries, changing to a 40% chance of rain in the morning. Very dangerous driving conditions there. Temperature be steady around 2, +2 that is. Wind chill will feel about -8. Long range, 40% chance of flurries or rain showers tomorrow, high of +2. Friday, -2, mix of sun and cloud. Saturday, mix of sun and cloud, high of -3. Chance of flurries, 40%, high of -2 on Sunday. Monday, -1, 40% chance of flurries. And Tuesday, -4 and cloudy. Look at your satellite. Mixed bag again. You can just see a bunch of clouds coming through. Nothing new. It's what we're used to here in Northern Ontario lately. A lot of clouds and chances of precipitation. That is your Sudbury weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be back with news headlines. Our jumping off of the review of what we saw yesterday in terms of the state of the economy in Canada and what we can make of that, and maybe have a little laugh at the same time when we come back right after this. Okay, and we are indeed back, and we will have a basically a review of yesterday. Again, if you stuck with us for the last part of the show, you might want to go grab your favorite beverage or something like that, and then return. But that's what we're going to be doing today. So starting off, the state of the economy. Chrystia Freeland just gave her address, her fall report on the state of the economy, a little bit of a budget announcement there. And we saw that she was very ecstatic and very positive, and the country is doing very well, and inflation's coming down, and all the liberal policies are doing fantastic things for the country. It's a great time to be alive in Canada. However, reality shows that that's not actually true, and that food bank use, new people going to food banks, which is an indication of the state of the economy, when people have never been to a food bank before, are up in record numbers across the country. And it's incredible how bad things are getting in terms of the economy. But why is that? What are they doing about it? But first, a funny little skit, and if you can laugh or cry, we're not sure, but might as well just laugh at something. Here's the skit. We saw it towards the end of yesterday's show. We're going again. Like I said, review it. We'll replay it. We'll jump off of that into today's stuff. So we'll get back to some good morning shout outs as well for those that are joining us this morning right after this. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, God. No.
Everything okay, ma'am?
It's just that you've only scanned a few items and it's already $60. I'm so scared.
Okay, I'm a trained professional, ma'am. I've scanned a lot of groceries. I need you to stay with me.
It's just that my in-laws are in town and they want a charcuterie board.
This isn't gonna be easy, so I need you to be brave, all right? What's your name?
Patricia.
Trisha, all right. I need you to take a deep breath. We're about to do the cheese.
Oh, my God. The numbers are going up so fast. Why do we have to be at Balderson's house?
Don't look up there. It only makes it worse. Keep your eyes on me, okay?
Can't you just scan something less expensive?
I can, but let's not forget, it's the little things that add up, all right? Now brace yourself. I'm about to do the mixed nuts.
Oh, my God. I'm going to pass out.
Okay, bite down on this, Patricia. Get ready. I'm going to do the cured meats.
No, stop. I can't do this anymore.
It's too late. There's a line behind you, okay? You're locked in.
I'm not strong enough.
I know it looks like a lot right now, but I promise you, you're gonna get home and you're gonna wonder, what did I even buy? You've got this, Patricia. Get ready. I'm gonna weigh the grapes.
Oh, what have you done to me, you son of a...
Okay, your total's $257.84.
Oh, no.
You gotta dig deep. This is the hardest part. Patricia, it's time to pay.
The bill's too high to tax.
Great. Okay.
So again, it just repeats because it's on one of those reel things. So it's just going to repeat. So you'd think, oh my goodness, like Chrystia Freeland said, everything is doing fantabulous in the country. They're so proud of everything. But is this something that you experience as well when you go to the grocery store, let's say? Like, is it true that what Chrystia Freeland is saying, that inflation is coming down? Canadians are really happy with how the Liberals have really handled things, and we've never been in a better state of the economy, and things are going so well. Their plans are working out so great, you know. But I'm sure it's not that case, and I'm sure we feel a little bit more like this particular lady at the grocery store, right? But you'd think, well, all Canadians are in the same boat, right? We're all struggling. Well, maybe not. Maybe there's a certain group of people that aren't. And so this is from the Canadian Taxpayers Federation.
We're right outside of the Bank of Canada, where their executives gave themselves $3.5 million in bonuses last year. $3.5 million in bonuses. 80 of 82 Bank of Canada executives got a bonus last year. The average bonus was more than $43,000. But here's the craziest part of the whole story. The Bank of Canada has one job: to keep inflation low and around 2%. You know they failed. Everyone knows they failed. Doesn't matter. Bonuses anyway. Now, inflation was a 40-year high last year, so I can't believe we have to say this, but the Bank of Canada should not be giving 98% of its executives a bonus when it had the worst year in 4 decades. Not to mention the fact that the Bank of Canada raised interest rates on you 7 times. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. The number of executives at the Bank of Canada increased by 18% since 2015. I guess you need more central bankers to print up all that money. But here is the key takeaway. Canadians are losing sleep, worried about losing their homes, worried about their credit card bills, hell, just worried about putting food on their table. And the executives at the Bank of Canada aren't even worried about losing their bonus. It kind of makes you sick to your stomach, doesn't it? And if you are fed up about this, then send an email to Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and tell her to stop rewarding failure with bonuses.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't see this.
Don't stop that fast enough. Just not fast enough on the click. Just not fast enough to stop that next video. But it takes 17 clicks to actually to get one video to work and have the volume and be the right size and all that. But the next video comes right on and you're not even able to pause it because it's even on a different screen. So interesting. But anyways, that's the way Facebook works. At least it's working right now. At least we're on Facebook for whatever time. It's a miracle. Now, we've heard about the state of the economy. You know, regular everyday Canadians are struggling a lot, including myself, including most people. Now, there's a few people who aren't, and that would be Chrystia Freeland would be among the few people who aren't struggling. Well, let's just face it, right? Is she struggling financially? No. Okay. So, and the Bank of Canada, the executives, are they struggling financially? No. Okay. So one other person, well, two other people who aren't struggling financially, one would be Justin Trudeau, right? Do you think he's struggling financially? No. Okay. And Seamus O'Regan used to be the host of Canada AM. Now he's an MP and learning French, apparently. He's with Justin Trudeau. And do you think he's struggling financially? No. Okay. So we just heard stories, you know, we're talking about people who are not struggling financially, trying to help people who are struggling financially. And these are their options they're giving us, right? So heating bills, it gets to be about minus 30 degrees Celsius in a lot of areas in Canada, including where we live here. And they have a solution for you to save money while you heat your home. And this is the main solution that many people are talking about, apparently. And that's because the government is only talking about it. And the only reason we're talking about it is because they're telling us this is a solution for us, and that's heat pumps. So let's see what Justin Trudeau. Now, this does look like a home shopping network infomercial, by the way, and they might have a future career in that. I'm not sure, but well, Justin Trudeau was a part-time drama teacher, so he's able to bring this out. And Seamus O'Regan was a TV personality, so they're very good in front of the camera, except Seamus just seems a bit not in his element here. He seems a bit uncomfortable. Justin seems a lot more comfortable with this. You can tell it's probably more of his plan. But anyways, heat pumps for everyone. Now, this is Tanner. He does a great podcast, and he's able to break it down in a good way. And so I'll just let him take it from here, and we'll be back right after that. Tell us what you think. Heat pumps, are they the solution to help Canada's economy and help us in our environmental initiatives all at the same time?
The problem with insane men is not that they're irrational. It's that they're super rational. In their mind, they can rationalize anything and everything, even something as ridiculous as a heat pump in Canadian winters. Here's what Justin Trudeau and Seamus O'Regan, doubling down on their ridiculous heat pump idea, said.
Electric heat pumps, des thermopompes électriques. They're an efficient, affordable, cleaner way to both heat and cool your home.
They also don't work past a few degrees below zero. They don't produce the heat necessary to make the house livable if it's a few degrees below zero. That's because heat pumps work by sucking in cold air, which still has a bit of heat, and then running it through a compressor before exhausting it into your home. But when it's minus 20 or minus 30, there isn't a lot of heat in the air. And so the heat pump can't produce enough heat to actually make the home comfortable.
That's why everyone's talking about them.
Yeah, we're talking about them because it's a ridiculous idea. It's an insane idea.
Je suis ici avec le ministre O'Regan pour parler un petit peu de tout ce qu'on est en train de faire pour vous aider avec des thermopompes. We've been working with provinces and territories right across the country to make sure we're installing heat pumps and phasing out home heating oil.
If we want to describe the Liberal government, if we want to summarize them, all we have to say is they reject reality. That's what they do. If someone were to ask us, what is the Liberal government like? Oh, we'd say, oh, they're a group of individuals who reject reality. They vehemently hate reality. They refuse to acknowledge it. They refuse to submit to it. So even though heat pumps aren't nearly as efficient in cold temperatures as, say, oil and gas, even though they don't heat nearly the capacity that oil and gas does, Trudeau still refuses to accept defeat.
Because the fact is, it's good for the environment, but it's also good for your wallet. People who switch from heating oil to heat pumps can save on average $2,500 a year.
You know what else is good for your wallet? Cutting the carbon tax, allowing the free market to operate as the free market is supposed to operate, not forcing people into this transition that they do not want to participate in.
That makes a huge difference, both for your bottom line, but also for the future that we're building for our kids.
It's also laughable when Trudeau talks about finances or economics in any capacity because he is the perfect hypocrite. He is the last person who should be lecturing us about how to save money when his government runs billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of deficit.
Seamus, parle-nous-en plus.
Les pompes électriques sont pour la mazout. That's a big, big difference. And it uses a lot of the same technology that you see in fridges or in air conditioners. It draws heat and cool air in and out as you need it. And it is incredibly efficient. So it is much, much cleaner, and it is way cheaper when you get your heat or electric bill at the end of the month.
These puppets have been given a script. If they really believe that heat pumps can work in minus 30, then they're delusional. And you can't argue with them. Again, these insane men are super rational. Every single argument that we produce will be countered by them with something even more ridiculous. But in their mind, it makes perfect sense. It's a convoluted labyrinth.
So we want more people on board. We want them off home heating oil, which is incredibly expensive and incredibly dirty. And we want them to move to heat pumps. So now we have a plan. And our plan is simple. Free heat pumps. If you're from a lower income household, free heat pump.
It's free. It's free. It's always free. No one has to pay for these. Amazing. Everything else in the market we have to pay for, but not heat pumps. Heat pumps are free. It's ridiculous. They're not free. Government isn't giving them out freely. They're taking from your wallet money, dollars, and then they're distributing those dollars, in this instance, to heat pumps to advance their ideological agenda, to see that people no longer heat their homes with oil or gas in the name of Gaia,
We're going to give you $250 on top of it to sign up. And for everybody else, we are going to work out plans so that you're not having to pay that big upfront cost to keep so many people from getting onto heat pumps. We'll look after that, and you will pay it out over the savings that you will accrue over the years to follow.
This is just another example of the work we're doing to both make life more affordable for people.
Yeah, right. For sure, more affordable.
And fight climate change and protect the environment at the same time, because the economy and the environment have to go together. That's what we've been working on. That's what we're going to keep working on for the weeks, months, and years to come.
These ideological servants see Canadians suffer in the name of their eco-radical agenda. It's wrong. They serve the house instead of serving the family who lives inside the house. That is, they prefer to serve the world, even though the world didn't vote for them, instead of those individuals who live in the world. I would love to see every single federal politician install in their homes a heat pump. That makes sense to me. You're so certain about how effective heat pumps work? Fine, so be it. Then install them in your home, just like everyone else in Canada is supposed to.
This is all part of how we build a better future for everyone. On va créer une économie centrée sur le bien-être de tous, en protégeant l'environnement et en vous aidant de façon concrète.
It's going to be a pass, hard pass from me, hard pass from everybody else. Let the market decide what people want. Let them choose what's best for their homes. Let them go outside for even 30 seconds in the minus 30 in the middle of December or January and realize that a little pump that's sucking in air and then compressing it is not going to heat their house sufficiently to remain comfortable or livable in the middle of winter. This is nonsense. If people want to install a heat pump, fine, so be it. Let them do so. Maybe as a backup or maybe as a secondary unit, so be it. Fine, absolutely. Let individuals choose what's rational for them. But when government gets involved, when government plunges its grubby little hands into the market, disaster follows. The problem with...
So what do you think? Does he make some good points or what? Right? So are these heat pumps a good... are they going to work good in our environment of 30 below or more? Apparently not. So you can look up online and do your research and see, and then do your research and see if they're actually free as well. And what Tanner said is true. If a government offers you something for free, where are they getting it from? Well, they're getting it from you. So what a sales pitch is that? I'm going to take from you. It's like someone coming to your house and robbing you of something and then giving it to you and said, I gave it to you for free. It really doesn't make any sense, right? So you would think this kind of thing would be, out of the bag many, many years ago, almost like children's cereal commercials. Like there's regulations where, you can't just take vulnerable kids and market something to them that's unrealistic. It's the same thing for governments. They shouldn't be able to say something's free when it's not. It's not free. It's like a gimmick, a marketing gimmick that corporations do. Free this, free that, when it's really not free. There are some things in life for free, but it's not going to come from the government, as far as my experience has shown. And again, Tanner makes a good point there. Another listener or viewer sent us another video as well to go along with all this stuff. So this is where we're going to leap off of it. And then we'll come back with your comments and some good morning shout outs and things like that. And we'll end with some local headlines, local news. So we're reversing the order of the show today. Going to start off with some national issues, and then we're going to move into more of the local issues afterwards. So yeah, we'll be back right after this.
Canada's Federal Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault was questioned today about the unreasonable and unconstitutional single-use plastics ban that he forced on Canadians. And he was unhinged. His gaslighting, his rhetoric, his lies were just off the charts. Now, before we get into that, it is extremely important that you realize that Canadians appear to have stopped caring about climate change. This is from the National Post. this morning, and this was the latest poll, and it shows that Canadians would much rather have the Conservatives deal with climate than the Liberals. And he talks about that. But it's just, they don't understand how bad Canadians are hurting. Canadians right now, because we are taxed so bad with the carbon tax, it has increased our bills so much that Canadians are forced to choose between eating or heating. It is crazy. So of course we don't care. Once a critical factor in elections, polls show Canadians just want to be able to afford things. This is Bob Zimmer, MP. Listen to what he has to say about the carbon tax with this reporter.
Pushing back a bit on your statement that the carbon tax has led to increasing food prices. There's been some evidence that that's not the case, and there's other factors involved. I guess what's your response?
Who would say that?
Quite a number of people.
Do you have somebody specific that you're quoting? Because
I don't have anyone.
I haven't heard that at all. I mean, we're seeing it. I was up there. I talked to Mark. He's a grocer in Dawson City. He said he has a 92% transport surcharge just from fuel.
So did you listen to that question from the reporter again? So I'm constantly, when we have our haters on the show, they hold me to account on anything. They say, "Oh, this is news. Oh, this is really news. You don't have your facts straight. You didn't do your homework. Blah blah blah." And I totally admit that this is all volunteer from me. And I get up and we just go through news headlines. We're looking at, different aspects of things, trying to get a different point of view for things rather than just what's the mainstream media just kind of rams down our throats all the time. And so they're constantly on me, but let's just hear that reporter's question again. So these particular people are saying that the carbon tax is impacting prices, especially in the far north, because of the fuel that it takes to get up there, right? So if you go back, I'm just going to see if I can get it here right on. But you can see, listen to this question again from the reporter.
What he has to say about the carbon tax with this reporter.
Pushing back a bit on your statement that the carbon tax has led to increasing food prices.
So pushing back a bit on your statement that the carbon tax has led to increased food prices. Okay, so she sets it up like that.
There's been some evidence that that's not the case, and
there's been some evidence that that's not the case.
Other factors involved.
And other factors involved. Okay, so there's evidence and there's other factors involved. All right, so you should know what that evidence is, right? And you should know what the other factors involved are, right? You're a reporter, that's why you're asking the question.
Who would say that?
So again, that exactly. So there's evidence, there's other factors involved. So he's saying, okay, where are you getting this information from? Who is saying that? So the reporter easily could come back and say, well, there's this study and this person and that study and these graphs and charts and whatever show this, right? Just evidence that she said there was.
Quite a number of people.
So that's her answer. There's quite a number of people. There's quite a number of people, apparently, that are saying that the carbon tax doesn't have anything to do with increased food prices. That's the reporter getting paid to be a reporter from a mainstream news outlet, right? They're paid to do that. Their whole day is spent to do research on these types of things. And obviously this person believes that it has nothing to do with it because she just wants to push back on his statement and she believes it does have something to do with that. And so she's kind of sparring with him a bit. And then when he says, well, where did you get that information from that you don't believe that carbon tax has anything to do with increased food prices? Where did you get that from? She goes, oh, many people have said it. Many people are saying it. That's their response. Is that incredible or what?
Do you have somebody specific that you're quoting? Because
I don't have anyone.
Well, there's so many people saying it. She doesn't have even one. There's many people saying it. See, this is what I've noticed too, the mainstream media has been doing for a long time. When they're pushing forward some type of narrative or agenda, they'll say many Canadians. So I don't know if they're still doing that or not. Now I'm probably numb to that. But when I noticed it, it was pretty adamant. They were there all the time. Many Canadians say, and that's supposed to in your mind say, oh, okay, the majority thinks this. Okay, well, maybe it's probably right then if the majority thinks this. And they, again, lie the way you talk. So nothing's free, like the government is telling us. Reporters are saying many people say, and then they don't back up their source. So many people are saying carbon tax has nothing to do with carbon prices. Can you tell me who is saying that? No, I can't. Okay. So that's okay, reporter. I wonder what I would love to see the article they wrote based on this back and forth here.
I haven't heard that at all. I mean, we're seeing it. I was up there. I talked to Mark. He's a grocer.
Oh, a name. A first-hand name. They were up there and they talked to somebody. Firsthand. Wow, okay. So here's evidence that this other reporter was saying based on evidence and facts. There's nothing to do with the food prices and carbon tax. Okay, no connection whatsoever. But this particular gentleman says, well, according to Mark, a name, a business that you can go and clarify if you want, go talk to him now. But I bet you that reporter didn't do it. I'm just going out on a limb now. Going out on a limb, that reporter did not call Mark and get his take on it. I'd love to read that article that came from this back and forth here. So he talked to Mark.
In Dawson City, he said he has a 92% transport surcharge just from fuel.
Okay, wow, there's a number and a percentage, a number, an actual fact. So here's a name. She says many people. Well, he's saying this particular one person at least, and the facts that she said, and there's facts that back up that carbon doesn't have anything to do with rising food prices, especially in the north. And so now here's a number. There's a fact with it, a name, a city, a fact. Wow. So this particular person is giving, this reporter must be ecstatic because they're getting the truth, right? They want to get the real story. Like they don't have an agenda, reporters in this country. They're not just pushing forward some type of government agenda that's going forward and trying to prove it right all the time, right? They're out for the truth. That's what reporters do, right? So, okay, so he's setting the reporter straight. She must be really happy about that.
And that, if you just go into the local supermarket, you'll see the dramatic increase in prices year over year.
Oh, so you can see yourself. So you now can go and get the facts yourself by just going into the supermarket and picking up an avocado and looking at the price of it now. And then going on your computer at home and go, what did an avocado cost last year? And you yourself can find the evidence of what this particular gentleman is saying right there. So again, I'd be really curious to see this article that this reporter wrote.
Per year. So I don't know who you're quoting, but I certainly haven't heard that.
Exactly. I don't know who you're quoting. She's quoting nobody because she says, I don't have anybody. So how can she get away with saying many people say and then not have any evidence to back it up? And she said the word evidence and facts. She said that. So she said she has evidence and facts, but yet he's the one who come back with the evidence and facts showing the contrary, that actually the carbon tax does affect food prices. So yes, these particular politicians do not live in reality. They have their own reality altogether, right? So anyways, back to this.
And this is the reality of it. The money that it's just a tax. It's a tax because the government is spending so much money. This is BlackRock's reporter from this morning. $50 billion for electric cars. Electric vehicle subsidies to date will cost taxpayers up to $50 billion and counting, including debt financing charges. The figure is triple the value of annual production of the entire Canadian auto sector.
Wow. Blow your mind. So did you hear that, right? So $50 billion for electric cars. Electric cars are all the rage of the Canadian future, right? And we just found out that in order to build these electric cars, it's going to be free. Yeah, it's going to be free. And actually, a lot of people from South Korea are actually going to make money off of this. So they're going to be coming to Canada to work. There's let's just look at this article here from the Epoch Times, Confidential Matters. Liberal MPs oppose release of subsidized EV battery plant. So here's the contract details. Here's Justin Trudeau again doing his PR at this EV plant in Windsor. Conservative MPs want more information on federal contracts with electric vehicle battery manufacturers, including whether Canadian taxpayers are subsidizing foreign workers, but Liberal MPs on a House of Commons committee have opposed public disclosure of the contract. So they're saying, no, not public, not transparent. We're not going to tell you what we're doing with your money, right? It makes sense. Why would we want to know what they're doing with our money? Why would you want to know? No one wants to know that. It's important that we maintain the confidentiality of these contracts, they say, enabling us to continue to attract these investments. So that's their pushback, right? You don't need to know where the money's going. We're not going to show you the details of these contracts because we want to continue to have investments. It's almost like when a government says, we're not going to let you know because it goes against national security. So you can't know this. It's against national security. So it has to be secret. Okay, so here we're not going to attract investments from foreign countries if we release the details of these contracts. That was from Charles Sousa on November 27th. I'm a little shocked, actually. We have an opportunity here to continue to enable foreign direct investment. These are confidential matters. Confidential? Your money is confidential from you. Makes sense, right? The Standing Committee on Government Operations and Estimates suspended hearings without voting on a Conservative motion to compel disclosure of the contract terms, according to Blacklock's reporter. The government committed $10 billion in federal subsidies, which means you contributed $10 billion. You contributed $10 billion. Did you know you had $10 billion? If I had $1 billion. Yeah. I know I added a B instead of the M because that song's outdated. But you have $10 billion that you're just going to give away, right, in subsidies to build Stellantis battery plant in Windsor. Did you know that? You don't need to know the details of where your money went, though. In 2022, in July. So anyways, they made the announcement that they're going to build it. Stellantis and South Korean company LG Energy Solution announced they had reached a binding deal with the federal and Ontario governments regarding the factory. Total incentives for the plant amount to $15 billion. So it looks like the province is kicking in, which is also your money, kicking in another $5 billion. It will create and secure thousands of jobs, both in the auto sector and in related industries across Canada, and will further solidify Canada's place as a leader in the global electric vehicle supply chain. That was from Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland. She said that in a statement. It's all positive. It's all great. Nothing bad about it. Yet, on November 16th of this year, Windsor Police announced, get this, that South Korea's ambassador had visited the city to check preparations for the South Koreans to work at the plant. So you think, okay, that's good. We have immigration here. We like to take in skilled labor because we need skilled labor in this country, right? So, okay, South Korea, there's going to be an influx of South Koreans coming into Canada. This is great. All right. So with the new LG Energy Solutions battery plant being built, we expect approximately, get this, 1,600 South Koreans traveling to work and live in the community of Windsor. That's what the police said in a social media statement. The Liberal MP and Parliamentary Secretary for Employment denied to the committee that taxpayers were subsidizing the 1,600 Koreans, while also opposing disclosure of the Stellantis contract. So no, we're not subsidizing 1,600 South Koreans. I know that they're coming here and they're saying they're going to work in the plant, but we're not. So again, is that the truth or is that a lie? Right? It's your money again. You're 10 billion, you're 5 billion, 10 billion from federal, 5 billion. So is it or is it not going to subsidize 1,600, not Canadian workers? Chrystia Freeland saying, oh, Canadians are going to get jobs out of this and whatever. Picture a plant coming to Sudbury. Picture anything coming to Sudbury and saying, we're going to hire 1,600 people. What would that do for our economy? Right? Think of it. Think of where you work and how many people work there. Now think, there's a company coming to town. They're going to build it brand new. It's got tons of investment of your money, not outside investment. It's all your money, all subsidized. And they're going to hire 1,600 people. You'd be like, oh, I can't wait to get my resume in there. This is great. And they're probably higher paid jobs because it's whatever, skilled labor. But wait, no. We're not hiring anyone from Sudbury. These 1,600 jobs, we're just going to fly in the workers from South Korea. And there's nobody going to get a job from Sudbury. Just 1,600 South Koreans are going to come in and work. How would that sit with you? Like, how would it sit? Would you be a racist for saying, I don't think that's right? So you would be called that by certain people. You know that already. There would be certain people that would use that card for you to say, something's not right about this, right? We're seeing false information and confusion that is being sown by the Conservative Party, they're saying. This is conservative conspiracy theories. This is not the place to play politics with people's livelihoods. Racists? No, I just put racists in there, didn't say that. And with this investment, that is the most important investment in my community. Okay, so Bloc Québécois MP is questioning the federal claims. We were told that there's a need for specialized workers from abroad. Yes, other companies do that. That's fine, she said. However, I've never heard of any Canadian company sending 1,600 workers abroad. So South Korea, do they ship in 1,600 Canadian workers to work in their country, in one country for one project? That's never happened. I'd like some light shed on that. We're talking about billions of dollars. That is true. So that MP from Bloc Québécois. So it's not just conservatives. They're not just conspiracy theorists. Now, a conservative MP, Andrew Scheer, opposition House leader and former Conservative Party leader, told the Government Operations Committee that concealment of the Stellantis contract did not make sense unless Cabinet was, quote unquote, embarrassed to reveal the terms. If the government's so proud of what they've done, if they're so sure that this is a good deal for Canadians, they're certainly not acting like it, said Mr. Scheer. New Democrat MP Gord John said he agreed Cabinet was being evasive on the contents of contracts. So here you have a Bloc Québécois MP, Conservative, and NDP all wondering what the heck. But you see the Liberals just come back and go, it's the Conservatives. They're all conspiracy theorists. Because it's branded and it's an easy thing to say, to use these cards on people to get away with things, right? So they didn't say, oh, the Bloc Québécois, they're all conspiracy theorists. No, when she questioned, or the NDP MP didn't say he's a conspiracy theorist because he's asking the same question. What's going on here? We need to know, right? So there have been many questions this government has refused to answer, he said. From last Monday, the government said it was one job, Mr. Johns. Then Tuesday, 100 jobs. So they said there was only one job from a South Korean coming over. Then 100. And then on Thursday, it was 900. The confusion has damaged public trust and sowed division among various unions and committees, even unions, my goodness, and committees. This is a failure of leadership. So this is the MP from the NDP party, not the conservatives, the conspiracy conservative people. It is actually all parties being united in wondering what the heck is going on with this particular $15 billion, totally government-funded battery plant in Windsor with 1,600 South Korean workers coming here to Canada to work, not to become Canadian citizens. They're not coming here to immigrate to Canada and then contribute to our economy afterwards. They're coming here to work in the plant and then go home afterwards at some point. You know, it's only for work. That's it. So, yeah, that's what's going on. And we just want clarity on this. Like, why? First of all, why would that have to be the case? Why couldn't you just hire Canadians or new Canadians even, right? People that have newly come to Canada who immigrated here. Immigrants. Why couldn't you hire them? Why does it have to be 1,600 workers from South Korea? That's just interesting. And it's just something that I wonder about. Now, we're going to have to defer some of our local talk of the city council meeting that just took place in Sudbury last night, going ahead with the $65 million cultural hub that will be in Tom Davies Square, not a standalone building that was originally slated for $100 million after the inflation started going up after the pandemic. So it will be about $65 million. It will be in Tom Davies Square. It will try to take into account all of the environmental goals and things that the former building was wanting to do as a legacy project here in the city. So they will be going ahead with that. They're hoping that it's going to be a cultural hub that will come to Sudbury and transform it, turn it into, something where everyone will migrate to downtown, and it will then spark newly generated, vibrant downtown here in Greater Sudbury. So we'll come back starting off with that and our local headlines in our regular order tomorrow. It's just because, again, YouTube cut off the last part of the show yesterday, and I wasn't sure why. And I was just wondering if it was because of the content that we were sharing. And so I thought I would lead with that today. For one, an experiment, and for two, it was great content, right? It just gives you a little taste of the economic climate that we have in our country these days. We're all experiencing it, those living here. We all know what's going on, even though when we listen to Chrystia Freeland talk, it doesn't sound like what we're experiencing. It sounds like a totally different world. It doesn't sound like reality. The reality is that we are hurting financially, that we are not making as much money as we were a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. You think things are supposed to be getting better. We're getting more efficient at things. Things can even become cheaper and people's working situations would be getting better, right? But it doesn't seem to be so. No, we don't have the stats for MAID in Sudbury yet, but we do have the national stats, and we do talk about that on the show quite a bit. I just saw that as I'm going through some of the comments, and I'm really apologizing. We didn't do our usual morning shout out this morning. I was trying to get through the content and trying to get to what we were going to get to, but it's a learning process. It's learning on the fly. But you guys are great. We had quite a few people with us for the first part of the show, so many people stuck with us. And so thank you guys for sticking with us today. I'm trying to get all the comments up on the screen here just as we're closing out the show, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that or not. I'm just trying to get them all up here. But thank you so much for commenting. Continue to do that each and every weekday morning between 7:30 and 8:30 here on Sudbury News Talk and on the morning shift on CKLU 96.7 FM. And Pete is on this morning. That's pretty cool. And he's sharing a link here. So if anyone wants to go in and check out the link that Pete is sharing, I'll have to ask him about that when we get together this Friday, if I don't have time to check it out myself. So thank you very much, guys. Wow. A lot of comments here coming through. Doing my best, but I might have to just close her out anyways. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. And we'll be back, God willing, same time, same place tomorrow, which will be Thursday. Happy Hump Day, everyone. Bye for now.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.